Well, if you don't want to keep the bikini, hon, just give it to grandma. Cheers, everybody. Welcome to On Top and Hot's live edition, where I'm going to talk about hot penny stocks that you brought me. I share hot penny stocks with you all week, one way or another. How y'all doing? Great to see you here. Well, I can't see you, but I know you're here. I see a bunch of comments over here, which is the proof in the pudding. And of course, we got the local gang here, as was already recognized by Mr. T. Rick. He's giving the big hello to y'all. Belmore, Kashera, Underdog, Mark Ryan, my hardcore group there. Boy, without you guys, where would I be? I'd have no due diligence to do until the show started. Thanks for being there for me. So as I said, all of you are here. We've got others. Dino, yes, Dino's becoming a regulars too, right? I appreciate you being here, Dino. T-Rick, Brian, Chris, Bold 10, look at them coming in. I like that. Hello, Mark. You're in here just in time. All right, folks, I have got 6 stocks all lined up for us. But before we jump into that, I wanted to share something with you here. Let's jump over to my charts. Let me see. You can see, I can see, looking good. This was a stock that we've been playing for the last couple of days, folks. It was barely a penny stock. We hit a low here of $5.10 4 days ago. Do you see what we hit today? $52.43. Holy cow, folks. This morning, she started off at roughly $17.50, $18. And we were playing this today, folks. Playing a lot. She had a couple halts, as I remember, but not as many as I was expecting. Though we are going to look at a stock that had a lot of halts today. So let's just jump on into this. We're going to take a look at the first stock, which was actually brought to me by somebody. God, I can never remember if it was Twitter or YouTube. But in either case, we're going to be taking a look at ticker RIOFF, Rio 2 Limited. This came to me by way of, thank God for my notes, John Rodriguez. This is a gold mining company based in Chile. They have just begun their construction on their gold mine, and there are no filings to take a look at, which saves us some time. So let us get back to the first page where I should be. Rio 2 Limited. This is a Canadian company working out of Chile. They finished today at 56.3 cents. They were up about 2.5% today, jumping about 1.5 cents. Now, unlike a lot of these mining companies, she's not making any revenues, but she's not a pink. That's why I primarily don't like mining companies that aren't making revenues. I just don't even want to look at them. Most of them are on the pinks. They've got nothing going for them. Exploration. This one isn't. No, this one is on the absolute best tier of the OTC. It's on the QX. The QX is as close as you can get to the major exchange without being there. You get all the filings, you get all the financials, 10Ks, 10Qs, you get everything here. You can trust QXs. To the point, they are considered penny stock exempt. What that means, they are 56 cents right now. They're on the OTC. That sounds like a penny stock to me. Well, it is, except for the fact they've proven themselves to be reliable, like a teenager that can take care of business. They have been in business for 3 to 5 years. They have had millions of dollars in either revenues or in assets over that time period, and they've kept up with their financials. So they're doing everything they should. Even though they look like a startup company, they're not. So we don't treat them like that. So this is not a bad company, even though they haven't got any revenues right now. So they tell us down here, Rio 2 is a mining company with a focus on development and mining operations with a team that has proven technical skills as well as successful capital markets track record. Now, I do have only one piece of information here. I brought you over here because there wasn't a lot of news to report, but this gives you a flash on the news that's going on right now. The biggest piece of news is that they are in the midst. Looks like I'm losing all my highlights. This is going to stink. It really is. I got a lot of pages here. God, I hope my memory holds out. Okay, this piece of news came out February 7th. It's about a week old. The company announced today the celebration of the official start of the construction of its Phoenix gold mine located at the Marcunga gold belt of the Atacama region. I'm presuming that is down in Chile. We got a bunch of pictures here. Woo woo, they're excited. Things are getting going. They tell us down here that, as announced in a press release dated January 13th, the company recommended construction activities at the Phoenix gold mine in October 2024 after successfully completing a debt and equity financing for the construction of the mine. The projected construction capital expense for 2025 is estimated to be $122 million. Now, I happen to notice that number because I think it is what they either have in the bank or what they have in equity, something like that. We're going to see. With construction expected to be completed, that's what I want to know, in November of 2025. First gold production is currently guided for January of 2026. So this could be a nice long hold, getting in now. They are on the QX. If this was on the pink, I'd say, yeah, right. Grain of salt news. I'm not worried about it. But being on the QX, taking care of business consistently through the years, I've got faith that they're serious with this. So what was the relative volume around this news today? Geez, not much. All right, the QX is on the OTC. It doesn't get a lot of shares. Let me refresh this page just to see. Up here, they tell us what the total share count was for all the stocks on the OTC market, which is 12,381. Today, all of them together did 4.3 billion shares. All of the companies together. Back before COVID, we were doing 60 to 70 billion shares a day. We have not got back to that. We fell, well over 2 years ago down to this floor, and we've been down here ever since. So it has always been thin. We're hoping that maybe Trump's administration changes things. We need to get investors excited again to come back. That's what happened. The investors just left. Whether the market was hard or they went broke because of inflation, they just left. So right now, this company's doing like 150,000 shares a day as an average every day, including today. Share structure for the company, we're just shy of $500 million. We're at 416 million shares. No clue what the insiders own. We're hoping they own something. Subtract that from the outstanding. That gives you your float. We don't know what that is either. All we do know is that the float can't be any higher than the outstanding share count. So it's not going to be any higher than 416 million. Whew, thank God. And it could be considerably less depending on how many shares the insiders own. Market cap, we are currently at about 230 million. Looking at, let's go to the financials. That's where we normally go. Right. They've got nothing coming in, which is always a concern for me. But as I said, being on the QX, I'm not sweating it. Looking at their balance sheet, we've got about 14 million in the bank. We know that's millions because they tell us up here. We got to add 3 zeros to any of the numbers on these charts. Scrolling on down to our assets, we've got 120 million in assets. Total liabilities is at 41 million. Stockholder equity, even though they don't have any revenues, no profits, we're not holding a bag. That's what I'm always worried about. We've got $78.5 million of equity in this company, even though they're not doing anything yet. Taking a look at the disclosures, as I said, they will have disclosures, but they don't have anything here outside of their most recent financials. So there's not a whole lot to see. All we know is that they have got what they need to start building. All the permissions, all the money, they're ready to go. They are going to be done by November and be mining by January of next year for gold, not lithium, gold. Let's go take a look at the chart for RIOF. I don't have to remember anything because I've got them all lined up here to keep it easy for me. So let's scroll back to a year. Always like to see the general flow of the chart. You follow behind someone walking behind them, you have no idea where they're going. Turn this way, turn that way. But if you look at a satellite and see where they've been walking for the last week, you know exactly what direction they're going. We can see this is on an uptrend. It has been bouncing up and down as stocks do, but she is definitely on an uptrend with a low bubble in this corner, high bubble in that corner. Can't ask for any more than that. Well, maybe you want it on top of the 200. That's where she's at. We had a bounce right here, and she is cooking right now, and she's going sideways. She has hit her 52-week high, and she is just under that right now at 56. 52-week high is at 58 cents. 52-week low is at 23 cents. Taking a look at our 6-month 4-hour view, just as pretty. We had a dip here down to a low of 32 cents. We smacked on a very hard support here. That's all she hit with this solid bar. The wick went underneath. I'm primarily concerned where that solid bar goes. The wicks are indicators, but the solid bars are signals. Signals happen quick. Indicators, and we're just watching. So we've got this bouncing on the 200. We did dip underneath it here, came back up. We are climbing, bouncing off of the 200 with a nice peg leg there. All of these MAs are crossing right now. Every single one of them is a golden cross. It's extra strength to the price as it's rising. Coming on down. Well, let's see what our oscillators look. Don't rush me, folks. Oscillators. Well, everything is kind of cool right now. It looks like most of it is going sideways, but what is catching my attention is the ADX. We got 3 lines there. The green line is your uptrend. Red line is your downtrend. Yellow line is strength. Whichever trend is at the top of the chart, that is your dominant trend. Our green is on top of the red. That's the dominant trend. It says it's going up right now. And the higher the yellow line goes, the more strength the dominant trend is getting. This is up at 50% right now. This has a maximum of 100%. So we have gotten a lot of extra strength in our uptrend right now. Things are looking good. Our MACD has had a cross down. Looks like she's going flat right now. And our RSI is right underneath the overbought. We're at 68 right now. Taking a look at our 1 hour, 20-day. That's a nice smooth ride there, folks. Look at that 50-day MA. That's what she's riding on. She bounced off it here. She got up on her 9, came back down to her 50. When the price gets light, it gets on smaller and smaller MAs. When it gets heavy, it starts to fall. When a solid bar hits an MA, you can normally expect a bounce. Don't worry about that wick. That wick, actually, if it goes through other MAs, like we're on the 50, if that wick went through the 20 or the 200 and then came back up, that to me would be a signal. If a wick goes through other MAs, when a solid bar stays on top of its own MA, that is a signal it is going to climb as far as I'm concerned. That's not a signal. It didn't go through anything. It was just on my mind. Got a nice steady climb here. She is sitting on top of her 20, 9. Everything is climbing. 200's climbing. I don't see any reason why she should come down. We do want to watch because we see our downtrend is dominant right now. But what does this say? The yellow line says the downtrend is weak, though. Very weak, which could indicate a bounce. We could quickly see a change here in these red and greens just crossing over again. And our RSI is drooping down a little bit right now and is at the crucial point of 55. I don't want to see it any lower than 55. And our 5-day, 15-minute. She's going more sideways than up. Whoa, we were getting dangerous here. She took a dip. She came down to a low. Our 200 haul started to fall. I have mine in 2 colors, so I know instantly when it's climbing and when it's falling. Because the 200 haul has as much authority, as much power as the regular 200-day MA. The difference is it's friendly. The 200-day MA is a brute. It doesn't give a heck. When you're under the 200 MA, you're underwater. When you're over the 200 MA, you're in the air. You can move a lot faster. Well, the 200 haul helps the price to move. It is a baseball bat, and the price is a ball. And we are always looking at the atypical 200 squeeze. When you have the 200s between the price in between the 200s, that's when the 200 haul comes into play. Gets a lot of extra power. So once this gets on top of that 200, I think we'll see another good, strong push out of this, folks. The 200 rolled, and she's going to roll back up. Ebb and flow. That's the way these MAs move. All right, that does it for me for RIOFF. I think she's moving right now. Personally, I wouldn't get into it. not because it's a mining company, but because her catalyst is really a long ways off. But if I was interested in it, I'd be looking for a good entry now. I'd want it to fall down to a low spot by about 25, 30% of what I want. I figure I'm going to be holding this for a year, right? So I don't know what's going to happen in a year. Something bad could happen. She could fall really hard. I'm going to get excited. I'm going to have an opportunity to average down and buy more of what I want cheaper. If I buy everything right now, it can only go one direction for me to be happy. And every time it falls, I'm going to be grumbling. So buy 25, 30% now and take advantage of buying opportunities through the year. Let's move on over to, let me come on down here and say hello to some people. Must be somebody new over here. Scrolling on down to the bottom. I can't pronounce that. Well, I'm not going to pronounce your name wrong, am I? Hello, I think NXU might come back. What do you think about that? We've been playing NXU over at Penny Boys. I don't think we played it today. It came up a couple times in conversation. I do believe we were playing it yesterday. I don't know if we'll get time to look at it today. Mariah, glad to have you here. Pizza, what's the deal? We've had a conversation about that as well. I guess there's a merger going on, and the value of the company is one price, and the merger deal is coming in at a lower price, less than the value of the company. That's what I heard. I haven't had time to look at it because I was real busy all day today. Let's see here. Hit that like button. I don't get any cha-ching for it, but it sure makes me feel good. All right, folks. I'm going to get rid of these comments. I'm going to take me a hit. And no, it's not THC. But I go through a lot of nicotine as well as caffeine. All right, round 2. Let's hit it. Dun, 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 dun. Our second stock comes to us. I do believe this is highlighted. Ooh, I think this comes from Belmore. Yes, it does. Thank you, Belmore. MBRX, a super hot stock today. We will take a look at the New York Stock Exchange page because it was halted, and I don't know how many times, more than once. I assure you of that. The company is a biotech. That's okay. I'm not going to hold it against you, Belmore. It's a hot penny stock. It's got to be looked at. Just has to. This company is a research and development cancer drug biotech, which is a giveaway that they're not making any money. Research and development spends. They don't make any money unless they found some, well, excuse the expression, killer drug and have got it out on the market. The company did receive FDA guidance on a very important trial. Very hot today, crazy relative volume, and they've got a real low float. Hot volume and a low float, I mean, you can get some wild runs out of that. So MBRX, let's just take a quick look here before we jump in. New York Stock Exchange, NewYorkStockExchange.com. I don't normally bring it up over here. Let's see. Trading Insights, get out of here. I was looking for my halted page. Halts, no, you're not showing me my halts. Yeah, I could do it over there. This is not the normal browser I use. I know they had lots of halts today, folks. Just take my word for that because I posted lots of pictures for it over at Penny Boys. So MBRX is an American company. They're based out of Texas. Finished the day at $1.27. And look at those gains. God, it wasn't that high the last time I looked. We're over 200% right now, folks. We have jumped 85%. She is on the NASDAQ, so this is a great thing to see. She jumped 85 cents, meaning she was down under 50 cents. Being on the major exchange, they have a minimum bid price requirement. They got a minimum requirement for everything. How many shareholders you have, stockholder equity, market cap, minimum bid price. If you're under $1 for too long, the company has to get the price up over $1 for 10 consecutive days. It has to close over $1. Well, they don't do it. We do. If we don't do that, the company either has to do a reverse stock split to get the price up, or they just get thrown down to the OTC. So I don't know how many days she's been under $1. Is this the first day she's been over $1? Probably. So this could be day number 1 if she's in hot water. I'm not even sure she's in any hot water. So what is this company about? Well, they tell us down here they are a clinical stage pharmaceutical company focusing on the development of drug candidates for the treatment of cancers and viruses. Its lead drug candidate is anamycin, which is in phase 1 and 2 studies for the treatment of relapsed or refractory acute myeloid leukemia and cancers metastasized in the lungs. Oh, please let me have all my highlights. Oh, I can tell when it takes time to come back, it's going to be blank. Look at you. You're not even coming up for me. Oh, no news. I'm not even getting the news I had up. Oh, that stinks. All right, let's see here. Okay. I don't know if they had news over there or not, but I do remember, and I did have things highlighted here, that when I went through their filings had news releases in them. These are all filings. They're 8Ks. These correlate to the news. So even though we can't get to the news, why I don't know, try that again while we're over here. We've got 2 pieces of news over here. This one, the company received first country approval in Europe to begin recruiting for the Miracle Phase 3 RR acute myeloid leukemia pivotal trial. First of many site approvals, including sites in the US, Europe, and the Middle East, expected throughout Q1 and Q3 of 2025. The company remains on track for the first subject treated in pivotal adaptive phase 3 clinical trial in the first quarter of 2025. The other one, goodness, the company received positive FDA, now we're talking America, guidance for the acceleration of its registration, enabling miracle trial for the RR acute myeloid leukemia. The company remains on track for first subject treated in pivotal adaptive phase 3 clinical trial. I'm trying to remember if I had anything down here. Yes, I thought there was something else. I can see it in my mind. There was something lower I had highlighted. The drug currently has fast track status and orphan drug designation from the FDA for the treatment of relapsed refractory acute myeloid leukemia. So that means the FDA is helping them to get this drug out on the market faster. Phase 3 is for putting your drug up against your competitors. If there are no competitors, well, you still got to be checked out, but in a different way. So you get fast track, you get orphan designation, which means there is nothing else out there. We need to get this out there quick. There are people waiting for some sort of help, and this is some sort of help for them. They've also got, where was I? Up here. In addition to orphan drug designation for the treatment of soft tissue sarcoma. So this has got multiple designations. What do they call it? It'll come to me here in a minute. But when you put a drug into a phase trial, you have to tell them what it's good for. If you have aspirin, you can't say, oh, it's good for aches and pains. No, you got to tell them which ache and pains. Headache, knee ache, backache. And if you give them a whole list, they've got to test every single one of them. That could make your trial go forever. So normally you put it in for one, the easiest one to prove, get it approved, and then start making money with it and come back and say, oh yeah, this drug is also good for this, this, and this. And then while you're making money, they can start proving those other indicators. That's what the word was, indicators. All right. Did my news ever come back? Nada. That's okay. All right. Let's see what our relative volume was today. Whoa. Obviously very excited. I'm thinking the most recent news was the FDA. That was the only news we had come out today that isn't coming up for us. And it is an American thing. So I guess that's the big kick here from 250,000, let's just say, to almost 100 million shares. You know, just ballparking it, folks, that's like 400 times her normal volume. Wow. Holy cow. And what is her share count? 3 million is her outstanding share count. Subtract what the insiders own, no clue what it is, but that is going to be a lower number. We're going to have a super duper low float, folks. 3 million shares, and they had 100 million move today. So that means every share had to sell about 33 times. Yeah, 33 times the share. I mean, all the shares got sold, had to be rebought, resold, rebought. Imagine that. And you know everybody's not selling their shares. They know the deal. Supply and demand. When there's not a lot of shares, hang on to what you got. You can probably get more, but it falls as fast as it rises, maybe even faster. Market cap for the company, we've only got 1.2 million since we haven't got a lot of shares. Market cap is figured out by taking all your shares and multiplying it times the price. Just that simple. Financials. We got no money on the annuals. We got no money on the quarterlies, but we got money. We got about 9.5 million in the bank, 23 million in assets, 15 million in liabilities. So we are holding positive stockholder equity, no revenues, no profit. It's not a bag. We do have $7.5 million for the investors. That's not the company's money. That's our money. Taking a look at the quick disclosures. Taking a look at the disclosures quick. Whoa. God, look at all these. All right, I know the first two have to do with the news. Those are the first two I just showed you right there. This one here, Molecular Issues, another press release, country approval. That's that one. They could have repeated it in S1. There's a lot of information here, folks. 8Ks are not that difficult to read. They normally tell you right up at the very, very top what it is you're looking at. This is some waiver of some sort. Not interested in it. So that's what you see going on. They're getting approval to get this miracle trial moving. They're getting their first patients tried, tested, whatever you want to call it. In phase 3 is the last trial. Now, I'm not saying it's going to get done here quick. It sounds like it's just getting started. And most of them take at least a year. I'm just guessing here, but at least a year. Most of them could take 3 to 5 years if you have other drugs you're competing against. So we still have a while to go here, but the company is catching attention. So let's take a look now at, I guess we need to look at the chart, don't we? Yeah, we do. I've already got it. Take a breath. Relax. Okie dokie. Oh, my God, what is that? No, all I got to do is come over to number 2, MBRX. Look at that run, folks. Look at that run. That is on the 15-minute chart. She wasn't doing anything. Underneath the 200, flat. Hit a low bubble of 40 cents and just ripped. From 40 cents to $3.65, you're looking at 800, 900% run right there. Oh my God. Now, folks, we are scalping over there at Penny Boys. Scalping means we get in and get out real quick, which means you get out real quick here. You left probably more on the table than you took, right? And this can be aggravating, especially when you do it over and over again, which can happen a lot at Penny Boys because we're always finding hot stocks like this that run hot all day long. The best thing I can say is when your stock hits a high number, let's just make this easy. Let's say it hits 100%. So you've doubled your money. That means you can sell half of what you've got, put your money back in your pocket. You don't have any profit yet, but you've got all your money back. Now, if the stock looks super hot, if it's been halted and jumps, and you just want to push it, don't push your money. Push your profit margin. Maybe even when she goes up another 50 or 100%, pull some more out. Sell half and put some money in your pocket now. So now you got your money back and you've got 50% profit back. Now you can gamble if that's in your blood, folks. But I am telling you, as she climbs, just keep taking some. Take some because we never know when it's going to stop. You never know when the ceiling is going to be there. So the chance of finding the ceiling without selling anything, good luck. What I like to do is take the last 10% of my shares. If I had, 2,000 shares and I'm down to, 200 or 20, I'm going to let that ride. I'm going to see if I can find a ceiling and practice. And I'm going to see if I can catch it just before it falls. Then I'm not risking anything. And I've got lots of money already in the bank. That's the way you play. Let's just take a look at her 1 year, 1 day to see what was going on. She's been in a downtrend for a very long time. High price here, 52-week was $10.35. That was back in March of last year. And you can see she has been falling for a long time. We obviously played this a while back, and now it looks like it's time to get into the picture again. And she is right at a strong support here. This was one right there, but she is way past that right now. She is up here. And our next one is going to be up here, which should give us 518. And right, whoa, 518 is a strong one. We've also got one at 346. That's a very strong resistance. These are points where the price is going to probably hit its head and fall, not just dip, fall. Those are strong resistances. So we're going to need some power to get through them. Lots of volume. Everything jumped today, folks. That's all I can say. Everything jumped. Looking at the long chart, we're just right back to our 200. Right? She took a big jump, went all the way up, came all the way back down. Our 20 hasn't even crossed the 200 yet. She made that huge rip, came all the way back down, and our 20 is still way the heck down here with our 50 and a climbing 200, which is the one bright shining star here. She is sitting on the 200, which is a solid support. That's a strong one, right? We've got all the MAs climbing. That is good. We've got our 200 haul pushing up. That is a strong help signal for the price. What we're needing right now is green volume. When we had it, it was climbing. We haven't had it in a very long time. We didn't even have red volume to really talk about. Once the green volume comes in here, if it comes in here, we're in a very strong position with strong backup for this to climb. Oscillators, they show some heat on the board, but we've had a strong cooling off, right? That was a lot of fall, but I still see heat sitting up there right now. Everything is kind of planed out like it's ready to try an attempt to climb. All right, I think we've gotten enough information on MBRX. She's worth watching tomorrow, folks. She got a lot of attention today. The volume was outrageous, 400 times her normal volume. The one thing I do want to know is, what was she doing aftermarket today? Aftermarket, well, once she hit that high, she came down, landing on this strong support, couldn't hold. Look at this, came right through her 200 because the 200 haul is falling. She's following that. That's her friend. She follows the 200 haul. Or maybe the 200 haul is actually following her, whichever way you want to think about it. Now, she has crossed over everything here, folks. See, she was under the weakest place, under the 9 and everything else. She walked across all of the MAs here. She is now on top of the 50. She is on top of most of them. She's bounced off of the 20. This is great, folks. When I see her mount the 50 and then take a dip to the 200 haul, which is already climbing, Babe Ruth, I think we're going to be watching for a tap here for this to push to and through the 200. You hear me say that all the time. This is setting up for it right now. All we need is this price to get up just a little bit higher, and we could see that. Now, the volume is thin right now, but it's aftermarket, so I'd watch this early in the morning, as early as you can. I can't trade till 7, so if it moves before that, tough titties for me. If you do get into it pre-market, folks, most of us have a habit of getting out of a stock that we get into pre-market, because when the bell hits, especially if it's been climbing, everybody who doesn't play pre-market, they see all those gains. It was running since yesterday, right? So now they see money sitting on the table. They start selling, and you get a dip first thing in the morning, right at the bell. So we wait for all those sellers to take their gains and then find a floor, and new buyers come in, and she starts to climb. So you can take your gains here and then buy cheaper down here after she drops and do it again. That's a smarter play, and you're going to get more money off of that drop. You're going to be able to buy it cheaper. Let's come on back now and just fly on into the next stock. We're going to take a look now at one that I was given a choice on. This comes from Mark Ryan, good friend of mine, and I don't say that because he gives me money, though that doesn't hurt. He wanted me to choose between WISA and BSLK. Now, I think he thought I'd probably go for BSLK because BSLK has been hot, and we've been playing it over there at Penny Boys, and Mark plays Penny Boys when he gets a chance. This last week, his work has taken more time from him than we have. A couple weeks ago, we got more of them than work did. He does both at the same time, and he does them really well. Well, I did not choose BSLK, and I'll tell you why. But we are going to look at it because somebody else requested it. And it's like, okay, then. I didn't think it had a catalyst, but there's a whisper of a catalyst out there for BSLK. So I did find it with the help of Mark Ryan, and I'll share that with you. But right now we are looking at WISA, which works with wireless high definition sound. Doesn't matter if they're headphones, goggles, speakers, they work with wireless. And they don't just work with personal devices, they work with big venues, sporting events, concerts, movies, all that sort of stuff. They have just recently changed their name to Data Vault after closing the acquisition not too long ago. And currently, they are entering into a bunch of new contracts. Wizzy is an American company based out of Beaverton, Oregon. She finished today at $1.21 and currently is down about 7%, dropping almost a dime. This is a penny stock on the major exchange, giving you all those benefits you get on the major exchange, being able to trade for free, being able to trade pre-market, aftermarket, having a heck of a lot more volume and money than the OTC does, and protection because they got all those rules up there keeping the companies honest. So, what did I learn about this company? Well, let's see. I found they have a new brochure out. They like to call these decks. It's basically for new investors so that you can catch up on everything that they're doing in one place. So if you want to find this, just come on over. I did find this over at their website underneath Investors Relations. They've got it there. We see that they now have 67 patents. They've been accumulating those since 1998. They are now primarily working in blockchain data and AI web applications, Web3 applications. As I said, they work with a lot of different venues. They're working with a lot of different organizations. They just don't sell products, but they have products as well. So there's a lot of information over here that you can dive into to learn more about them. And the new deal that they just made has now got them involved in AI. Before, they were just high definition sound. Now they're AI. And I'm not quite sure how the AI is going to work into the sound aspect. That would be interesting if AI could actually work with sound. Now, I'll tell you something, just because I'm thinking about it. I've got Alexa, and I listen to a lot of different things through Alexa. And I was listening to AI music through her. And she had music. She had music for people who have HDD, who have autism. It created music for them. And it kind of had like a wavy stutter to it. It was weird. I could not listen to it comfortably. It wasn't nice for me. So maybe AI can work with sound, but that's not what I seen them working with here. It had more to do with advertising, with working with consultancies and things like that. Obviously, I've lost all my highlights. I sure did. You stink. So let's see what I can find here. January 7th, Wizzy Technology closes the purchase of Data Vault Holdings assets and names Nate Bradley as CEO. Now, did I open that one up as something? It sounds like one I would open up to read. Yeah, and I've lost all my highlights. Okay, what do we got here? The company is actually not bought the company Data Vault. They just got the assets. I don't know the real difference here. So they have acquired patent-protected acoustic and data valuation, visualization, and monetization technologies successfully, which include Web3 Sumerian, crypto anchors, audio advertising network, industry-first blockchain, and AI-enabled information data exchange. Wizzy is going to be changing their name. They've already done it. This is old news. They just changed their name to Data Vault. And they tell us down here that they will be changing their ticker to ADIO. And they want to do that mid-January too. So this should be happening anytime. They're falling behind right now. So we're going to be having a new ticker. So if you come looking for Wizzy one day and you can't find it, don't freak out. Where's Wizzy? Try the new ticker. Make a footnote of it somewhere. ADIO. All right, let's take a look now at the relative volume for Wizzy. She jumped about, well, we're at 300%, going from 800,000 shares a day as a daily average over the last 30 days to 2.4 million a day. Share structure, it's low. Outstanding share count is 7.7 million. Don't know what the insiders own, don't know what the float is. Whatever the insiders own, subtract that from there, and that's our float. It's going to be less than 10 mil, so we've got a low float, and it's probably a lot lower than that. So when this stock gets volume, what happens? The price starts to move quick. And if I remember correctly, I think I glanced at this chart, and I think the chart was looking hyped, ready for some movement. Don't hold me to that. Market cap for the company, we're currently at 10 million. Are they making any money? I think this company is. Yeah, what the heck's going on there? All right, their revenues are all over the place. Over the last 4 years, they came through COVID, but they look like they did pretty good through COVID. We've gone from 2 million to 6 million, back down to 3, and now at the end of 2023, not only did we fall down to 2 million, but we're losing a lot of money here. 3.4 million. What is that all about? Looking at our quarterlies, well, the revenues are coming back up, as are the profits. Thank God for that. I have no idea what caused that, but at least we're heading in the right direction now. Balance sheet for the company. We've got about 4 million in the bank, 8 million in assets, just under 4 million in liabilities. So we are holding positive stockholder equity of 4.2 million. We've got some revenues, we've got our profits back, and we've got positive stockholder equity. Everything's in the black. That's good for a day trader. Could even be good for a swing trader. Might be good for a long hold. I don't know. I'd have to do some more diving. Disclosures. What do we got here? Did I say anything about disclosures? We'll dive into them real quick here. 8K entry into material agreement. They're selling some warrants here. I'm not going to dive into that too deep. Warrants are going to give them money now, but it's going to give us dilution down the road, because when warrants are exercised, they give birth to a new share. So whenever you see them selling new warrants, it's free money for them. It doesn't cost them a thing. And down the road, they just give birth to new shares, and the people have to give more money with those warrants when they exercise them. So warrants are great ways for the company to make money in the front door and the back door. Let me see. Financial statements. That's what the other one there is about. You normally get an 8K with the financial. I don't see the financial, though. Interesting. And a Form 4. That's this year. Insiders. This is when they acquire or dispose of company stock, but there's no S's or P's there. Sales and purchases are what I'm looking for. Any other letter is something else, and they'll give you some information down here about what it is. I'm not interested, so I'm going to bypass that. So what have we got going with this company? Well, the catalyst, the primary one, is that they've changed their name and they've got AI working for them now. And, I think I had found some spot. I can't remember where it was, but I'm almost sure I had read that the whole purpose of this deal was to get the AI advertising network and the other stuff it has to help them get their products out there more. They've got a hot product. Like I said, it can be used in movies, concerts, high definition sound, and they say it's sound worth hearing. And it's all wireless. Imagine that. All right, let's go take a look at the chart for WISA. I've already got it up, so I ain't got to worry about this. Let's jump on back to a 1 day, a 1 year chart. Ooh, pretty bloody flat. I'm looking for a reverse stock split here. I don't see any. That doesn't mean they didn't have one. Price is only $10.95 here, so I'm thinking they didn't. Big burst of volume there for whatever happened. I'm curious, folks. I see that 200-day MA going to the moon, which tells me it was way higher. I'm going back 5 years. Okay, we must. Oh, right there. Oh, right there, too. Ha ha. So we had a reverse stock split way back in 2023. That was, I don't know, it says 99% stock split. What the heck is that? And then over here, we had another one, a 1 in 20. And you have to multiply these two together just for purposes of easy understanding. If this was a 10 and that was a 20, you'd have to multiply them together, 200, because they take that number and multiply all the prices on the chart by those numbers. So our high here 5 years ago is due to $131,970. You and I both know it's never been that high. It has to be divided by the ratio. And I don't even know what the ratio is. How can I figure it out when you tell me a stock split is 99%? I don't know what that means. All right, let's come on down to think we can see something on the 6 hour or the 6 month? Yeah, we can. Still got a falling 200 here. It's been falling for years. Once she got to the 200, she tried to break through, but you don't break out on a falling 200. She came back under, fell deep, had a wicked jump here with lots of volume. This was on September 4th, 2024. She went from $1.26 up to 378. So you're looking at a 300% run there. Quick. Now she should have stayed up, folks. We have a flat 200 right there. She came back down, hit it hard, bounced, but we can see our 200 is falling now. On the bounce, when she came back down, it was falling, so she had no choice but to come back underneath. And she came all the way back down. Been going sideways with a lot of volatility. Another huge run here from $1.64 up to $2.86. Then another wicked fall down to our ultimate low, our $1.11 here. And we've had a good day here, but look, it's just a little bounce compared to all of these huge bounces back here. Let's come on down to our 1 hour, 20-day view. We've still got a falling 200, been falling for years. And what do we got right now? Right now, it has just gone flat, folks. When did she break out? When it went flat. She jumped here from that $1.11 low up to $1.75. It ain't a huge run, but that was a good gain to be taking. She came back down to the 200. I expected a bounce on that a couple of times. She's done more than that. She has broke it. She's come down underneath. The whole bar is still sitting on the 200. Yes, it did break it, but the whole bar is still on the 200, and our wick shot down. Came down to the 20 almost. This to me says she's not falling. She's struggling. She's trying to hang on to the 200. If that entire bar came underneath, then I'd be worried. Like this right here, that's scary. But what we've got is compression. You see our bars? They're big and they're getting smaller and smaller. That's a compression bar. If the next bar opens up and it's a big green bar, chances are you're going to get more expounding. It's going to push more. So we did get a rise out of this, came back down, and now she's pushing down hard. Looks like she could fall a little more, folks. All of our oscillators are rolling down. Except our RSI. Look, it just jumped again. You saw it. It just jumped again, but we still have a red bar there. So that tells me we're getting some green activity down on the lower chart. Let's come on down to our 5-day, 5 minutes, see what's going on. We had a huge rip here. Pre-market, we were at $1.14 early. Early in the day, she had hit $1.74, $9.45, and that was it. That was done yesterday. She came down and she's been meandering sideways all this time, and she is still going sideways with dips now. I don't see any excitement here, folks. She is getting some of these green bounces up to the 50, but she's not breaking through. She isn't doing anything to show heat. Now, right now, our oscillators show she's trying. We actually see we got a little bit of volume, but it's aftermarket, so it's tough to really gauge any of this. We see she's climbing on our PPO. We have a strong uptrend on our ADX, but it's not as strong as it looks because our yellow line is falling. Our MACD is strong and climbing, and our RSI is just about at 55, and it is climbing. So all of our oscillators right now say we have a push. It is really difficult to judge a stock without volume. It's like trying to tell where water is going to go coming out of a hose when they keep turning it off and on. It's the flow coming out that tells you where it's going to go. Without the volume, it's really tough to say. But my best guess is she's going downhill because all of our MAs, the big ones, the heavy ones, are over her head pushing down right now. So I'd be looking for a floor for her to bounce on. Do I see a floor that readily jumps out at me? Yeah, we're about right there, actually. Sorry to say, that's a floor. She could stop here, folks. Maybe at $1.16. But chances are, if she goes that low, she's going to $1.11 again. So I'd look for a bounce. I'd look for this to come all the way down. Look at that roll. Yes, sir. I'd like to give you hope, folks, but I don't do that. Okay. I need a break. So no, that's not the right button. Let me come on over here, cool down a little bit. Psst. What are you guys talking about? DVLT, what's up? Common stock will start trading under the new ticker DVLT on NASDAQ. Who DVLT? Not the one we were just talking about. I thought the ticker was ADIO. I mean, that sounds like data halt or data vault. I didn't see any of that. Audio was its name. Yeah, okay. VRPX is flying. Ooh, there's a hot one, folks. If you're trading aftermarket, I don't mind. You got to make money. This is going to be recorded. Go trade if you got to go trade. All right, let's jump into another stock. What time is she? 10 to 5. We are going to go take a look now at PDGO. PDGO, Paradigm Oil and Gas, on the floor. 0001. You can't get any cheaper than that. Though, when we look at the chart, you'll see it went cheaper than that. It did. PDGO came from the underdog. Paradigm Oil and Gas is not into oil and gas. It's just their old name. It's what they're using. They have no operations. They just made a new partnership into, you guessed it, AI. They've got way too many shares. Anytime I see triple zeros, I expect to see billions of shares. Just the way it goes. And my big question after looking at all the information is, where's the money? And there's no filings to consider, so we don't have to waste any time. Pinks don't give us filings. So what were you expecting? PDGO. She is an American company based out of New York. She is on the floor at a penny. She lost 50% today. That means she was at 0002. Think about that. Yeah, she's cheap. You can buy it cheap. At 0001, you can buy 1 million shares for $100. At 0002, you can get 500,000 for $100. And when it falls back to 0001, you just lost half of your money. Just like that. You know how many people make money off of you buying at 0002? Lots. Because they buy it here and just wait. They're not expecting it to climb. They're just waiting for it to bounce up and bounce down, bounce up, bounce down. And most of those people are your marketers and brokers. Most of them aren't us. And you will see, I'm going to tell you this because I've already seen it here, another digit show up behind that one. It'll be a 5. You and I cannot bid half digits in the 000 zone. You will see them. Who's bidding them? I told you. The marketers and the brokers. They can make money because we have to bid on the full digit. So if you see a 0025, you got to buy it on 0003. They just made money on you. Just that easy. And you can't do anything about it. So this company has only got one of the green ticks, transfer agent verified. We don't have a verified profile. She has a shell risk, meaning that she's in business and not reporting any revenues. That is not the case. They changed the rules a while ago, and they said if you make a deal and acquire any assets in the deal, we consider you in business. Even though you're not doing anything, you're in business. So that's what happened. They just made a deal, and they got some assets. I'm not quite sure how they got any assets. I'll explain what I mean by that. Taking a look at the information that I got, looks like I'm losing my highlights again. Okay. I went back. I do remember I was looking at this. We're back here to April 2023. The company announces a new investment. In April, they announced more new investments. In December of 2023, they announced a change of control and a letter of intent. Got a lot going on with the company not doing anything. April of 2024, company announces another acquisition. Well, what happened to the last acquisition? I don't know. The company expands market presence with proposed strategic oil and gas acquisitions. Okay, that was May of 2024. Boy, they're doing a lot of acquisitioning, aren't they? And then we've got a piece of news for this year. This came out on the 10th. Paradigm Oil Gas partners with Hallmark Venture Group to drive scalable revenue growth. So they've got a lot of acquisitions. You think this one has anything to do with oil? No, it has to do with AI. This is a company on the market, HLLK, Hallmark Venture. Current price, 0028. They are a pink. They've got their verified information. They are a shell risk as well. I am on the financial page. They have nothing coming in on the annual. They have nothing coming in on the quarterly. They have nothing in the bank. They have $103,000 in assets, almost $1 million in liabilities, and shareholders are holding stockholder deficit. Again, my question is, neither company is making any money. Neither company has any assets. Who's footing the bill here? What are they doing? How are they doing it? You got to have some money to do something. I am not liking pinks that put out hot news without any money anywhere. There's no cash flow. If there's no blood moving in the body, I guarantee you, folks, the body's dead. I guarantee it. And this is how I lost most of my money, is believing news presses from pinks, looking at hot news and banking on hot news. No. I get in quick and I get out quick, folks. They can do reverse stock splits. They can sell the new business and have a newer business. I see this all the time. And I'll bet you, if you go looking through everything, you're going to see that they got rid of one business to move to another business. Then they found a better opportunity and to close that deal and didn't want it, went to the next one. Hop, skip, and jumps. And we're getting nowhere. So this is a strategic partnership with Hallmark Ventures. Let's see what they're going to get out of this deal. Operational management and marketing position. Hallmark Venture Group will oversee website development, traffic acquisition, lead generation, public relations, and administrative management and enhanced monetization efforts. For what? Paradigm's not doing anything. AI-driven business solutions. The partnership leverages Hallmark's AI-driven marketing and consulting expertise to create innovative business models that increase profitability. First thing I'd be doing, can't do it now, is go see what AI Hallmark has. If they're doing something, they should have some information about that new product. It shouldn't be a secret hiding somewhere, and that's the problem. The more research and due diligence you do on these pinks, the less you see there is to be seen. What you found is what there is. And I'm getting a feeling there isn't a whole lot here to be looking at. And I do believe that's everything we've got on the news side. It sounds hot. We've got a merger deal. We got a partnership. We got AI. I just don't see any cash flow. I see no blood in the body. Looks awfully pale to me. So what was the relative volume for PDGO? Whoa. It's a nice jump. She went from 90 million to 157 million. But again, remember, you can buy 500,000 shares for 0002. So at best, 500,000 shares, you got 300 purchases there, which is nothing to complain about. There is a page over here at the OTC market. In case you didn't know this, folks, I talked about this for a long time with people. This is the most activity. You can come over here to Advancers, click this. This will show you every single stock on the entire OTC market. And the reason I come here, you can't put it in order. It is already in order with the biggest gainers at the top. But over here, trades. I don't know of any other page on the entire internet. Are you hearing me? Nowhere on the entire internet have I found a page that gives me every single trade for a company. 2 trades, 1 trade. You know what this tells me? There is no more than 7 people on this stock right there. There can't be. There wasn't any more than 7 trades. Maybe there was only 3 people, right? But if I see 179 trades, that could have been 179 people. How about 969 trades? That could be 1,000 people. I go to the movies. I haven't seen any of the movies. I don't know anything about them. Which one am I going to watch? Wow, look at the line in that one. Follow the crowd. Follow the crowd. The more people we have trading, the more price activity you're going to get. These are all gainers here, so none of these are losing money. And this is a page I used for the longest time to find hot stocks. Look at that one. Oh my God. Back before COVID, there were lots of OTC stocks that were doing thousands of trades a day. Now it is very rare. I find one, I pay attention to it. I'll be honest, I have not looked at this page in a really long time. Back to where we were. Okay, so we do have some high volume. It did kick up today. Share structure for the company. As I said, triple zeros, you got to expect a lot of shares. We got billions. 7.7 billion are out. They got 20 billion they could put out. They own less than a billion, 743 million. We get all the rest, 7 billion. So we've got a lot of shares. I wouldn't be worried about no reverse stock split. Not until the price gets closer to a penny. When it's been running for a few days, looks like people are interested in it. They want to get it in front of people who have money. That's when they'll do it. Will they do it with their financials? I don't think so. They got nothing to show off. Let's see, what do we got? Financials, you know they've got nothing coming in, right? Nothing on the annual, nothing on the quarterly. We got nothing here. See, PDGO. We got nothing in the bank. We have no assets whatsoever. We have $17 million in liabilities. Where are those liabilities? Rent, utilities, maybe some dinners while they talk over their partnerships and deals. How about a paycheck for the management? Where do you think they get this money? Us, folks, us. I'm not liking this company at all. I'm getting a very bad attitude about this. All right, disclosures. You know there's nothing over there because it's a pink. Man, they got some oldies but goodies over there. So let's go take a look at this chart. I'm not going to be impressed because 000 stocks normally look like barcodes, picket fences. That's not it. You got to go to number 4. Now watch this. I'm going to go back to the yearly chart. Look at that. Now this is 0002 right here. This is 0001, and she went lower than the floor. It actually says 0 here, folks. 0. Yeah, the price goes from 0001 to 0. You want to get into a stock that's bouncing off of 0 to 0001 and occasionally hitting 0002? I don't know, folks. Doesn't look that good to me. Let's just take a look at 5 years. Has she been higher? She has been higher. Oh my God. She's been up to 004, which is really a huge run from down here. But I wouldn't have any hopes for that again. That was back in 2021. I'll bet you that was February. Watch this. No, it wasn't. It was May of 2021. The reason I was saying February 2021 was, I think, our 3rd or 4th stimulus check we got from Trump. Everybody had already bought everything they needed, spent that money foolishly, went to casinos, jumped into the market, and February 2021 was the biggest market push I have ever seen. I must have had 21,000% gainers that month. The stocks were going crazy. Stocks that hadn't moved in 10 years were running. And after that, the SEC noticed that stocks that hadn't been running for 10 years were running. They looked at them, saw there was no financials, no management. Yeah, these companies were on the market. No financials, no management. So a year later in September, it was something like, oh my God, what was it? 1,300 companies were yanked off the market in one day. Just all gone. And they plan on doing that with shell companies on the OTC. If you can't get a business going in 24 months, get the heck out of here. You're not scamming the investors anymore. So there really isn't any activity going on here, right? She hits a 0 occasionally and bounces up to 0001, and occasionally she's hitting that 0002. But this is a gamble, folks. You're waiting to make 100% gains. When she jumps from 0001 to 0002, that does not mean that your bid has jumped up to 0002. You could be holding a stock at 0002, bought at 0001, and they're going to let you sell it at 0001. And you know what? Somebody does. I don't know why, and it comes back down, and you're just stuck holding this thing forever. HCMC was one of those stocks. She was doing 20 billion shares a day back before COVID, and she was running hot. Now she's on the floor, going nowhere, no more. So there's really nothing for me to say about PDGO, folks. I don't like her. I don't like anything. I think it's all a bunch of hoopla. I don't trust a single word we saw there. And even if it was true, how are they going to make it work, right? Let's jump into the next stock since I've got all this extra energy going now. This was a stock that was really, really hot today, BSLK. When she was running, people did ask, why is it running? I went and looked. I could not find any catalyst. And I came back and told everybody that. Mark Ryan came back and said he saw that there was some deal going on. It was mentioned on Twitter. Well, I couldn't find the company's Twitter account until later. And they did put up a tweet that was so vague, it just could have been a brown box. And the stock just took off running. So BSLK, Bulk Project Holdings, an American company based out of California. Wow. She's at $1.23 now with 303% gains sitting on the books. She jumped 92 cents today. Another stock that was well under $1, the red zone on these major exchange stocks. Under $1 for too long, you're in hot water. We didn't even check to see if that last one was in hot water or how many days it had been above $1. So this has been kicking butt today. What information have I got that I can share with you? Well, there was very little information over there, and I lost all my highlights. Very little information. It was bleak. The only information I could find was over here. I am at Stock Titan, my favorite news site. It is run by AI. They've also got a scanner over here. It's all free. You can use it. There is a little bit of time delay. Not much. I think it's like a minute or something. So Bulk Threads is a company that just came onto the market. I believe it was August 9th. Yes, August 9th. They merged with Golden Arrow Merger. That's when they got here. BSLK creates scalable biomaterials, primarily for skin products, hair products. They're trying to make them safer by getting rid of certain chemicals that are in products right now. The company boasts a significant intellectual property portfolio with 49 granted patents and 171 pending applications. Its flagship product, Bee Silk, offers a biodegradable and non-toxic alternative to silicone elastomers and beauty products. Bulk Thread envisions substantial growth and value creation for stakeholders. And the most recent news, that was back in August of 2024. That's when they put that news out. And the last piece of news we got comes in November of last year. Bulk projects their financials. They projected they would exceed $1 million. And 2025 revenues, they anticipate reaching $4.5 million. So we've got a company here that's making money. Anything else I saw here? Company has 2 new products featuring Bee Silk were launched in Q3, and additional launches are planned for 2025, including a color cosmetic offering and a professional hair care line. All right, let's see what I've got. I can't remember what information I pulled up here. Okay, we've got a 13D. Did I skip this? I did. BSLK came to me from Dino Trades. This is why I can't remember. I didn't look at my bullets. They closed that merger deal and IPO'd August 2024. Deals with sustainable biomaterials, a volume explosion today. 113G was filed. That's what we're looking at. And the company had a post on Twitter. Thank you very much. So Golden Arrow, the company they merged with, purchased 37.9% of the company. That's how they got their portion. This came out December 2027. So all the news we have is about the merger. There is a little bit of news about the products, but we don't see any contracts or anything like that going on. The last piece of information I've got here comes from a presentation they have on their website. I've jumped over to their website, jumped into the brochure. You can actually scroll it in here. And I've just come to this one page to give you the information that I found. Our silk technology started over a decade ago, and Bolt has successfully manufactured with 10 plus contract manufacturing organizations. Today, all manufacturing activities are outsourced, with a major good manufacturing practice bio manufacturer as our lead contract manufacturing partner. Over the past 3 years, this partnership has achieved over 80% in manufacturing cost reductions, with an additional double-digit reduction anticipated in 2025. So the company is making money, and most of their work is being done by somebody else. They don't own the facilities. They don't have to pay for all of that upkeep. They don't have to pay for all of the labor to do it. They've got a contract with somebody else to do it. That's how they take care of it. And that's saving them a lot of money. I do have one more thing here. Yeah, the important thing, the catalyst, the thing I couldn't find all through the day. This is Bolt's Twitter account. 5 hours ago, they tweeted another exciting partnership coming soon, powered by Bolt. Now, I don't know if this is their logo, somebody else's logo, but this is all we get. Like I said, it could have just been a picture of a box. I've seen that before. A dog looking into a box and the stock rose. Yes, I did. So this is all we've got. We've got a hint that something is coming. And you know what, folks? The truth of the matter is these sort of hints are what get stocks running, because investors like us, we like to jump to our own conclusions. We speculate what it is they're talking about, and we make it bigger than it is. We make it more grand, and we bid on our own image in our mind, and we push that price higher and higher. And then when the news comes out and they tell us what it is, price comes way down because we come to our sanity again. It's like, oh, what the heck was I doing? So there you go. That's everything that's going on with the company. What was the relative volume? Out of this world. She's been doing about 1.5 billion billion. We wish. 1.5 million shares. Today, she did 268 million shares, folks, on speculation. That was not hardcore news. It wasn't even news. There were no findings. There are no news presses. That's what we got. A tweet for 300% gains, and look at the volume increase. Oh my God. Share structure. It's not bad. Outstanding share count is a measly 32 million. Subtract whatever the insiders own, it's probably going to be less. It's a decent float, especially when you got that many shares moving. Financials. Are they making any money with their products? Uh-oh. I see no money annually. What's that about? Why didn't this show up on the 2023 annual report? It's on their quarterly report, 1.2 million. They only got to keep 35,000, but when you got nothing on the books, that's impressive. I don't know. So here we are with something. Then we go back to zippity doodah, and then we jump up to $5,000, and we don't get to keep any of it. Cost us $5,000. So this isn't very exciting. It's not impressive. Looking at their balance sheet, let's cross our fingers here. We have about 6.5 million in the bank, about 16 million in assets, 21 million in liabilities. So we have no revenues. We don't have any profits. We don't have any stockholder equity. Matter of fact, we've got deficit of 5.1 million. We're holding a bag here, folks. All we've got is a hint of something, and it's running like a madman. This is why we scalp, because a lot of stocks run with no good reason, no reason at all. Some stocks run on bad news. And when people come to their right minds, read the news properly, figure out what's going on, the stock comes to an abrupt halt and changes directions and starts to fall. So we get in just over supports and resistances and out on the next one. You don't have to sell it all, but sell something, because when things change, they change quick, especially when it's a rocket stock. When it's going up and up, it's going to run out of fuel. That price is getting too far from the 9-day MA, and it's going to have to come back down to bounce. So don't climb with it unless you've got your target set. Make sure you have your stop losses in. We're not talking about that, and I need to say that. Without a stop loss, you're going to get your butt busted, because when it falls, it's going to fall so fast, you're not going to be able to get your sell in fast enough. So make sure you are getting in over top of a support and put in your stop loss at the exact same time underneath that support, because if it breaks that support, it's most likely going to continue to fall. And if you see something that bounced underneath that support, come underneath that bounce. You don't want to hit it and then get tagged out and then it runs. So come down underneath, but make sure you have a stop loss, folks. We hate them, but they save our lives. They save our money. Folks, you're like a soldier going out there. Your objective is to win the war. And you do that by eliminating the enemy. But that's not your priority. Your priority is to stay alive. You could stand out in the middle of the area and start shooting people, but how long are you going to last? Take cover. Put in a stop loss. Cover your assets. That's the most important thing to do, folks. All righty, let's see what we have over here for disclosures. Well, we've got a SC13D, which is somebody investing into the company. We've already looked at that one. Look at all those Form 4s. And there was only one sell. Only one. I do believe it was up here at the very top. Yeah. And it wasn't very much. $221,050. It's like $100,000. Maybe he bought a house. Maybe he had to pay taxes. I don't know. It doesn't say he had to pay taxes down here. I'm just saying he had something to take care of. He's got 9.5 million shares. So it's not like he's dumping anything. All the rest of those Form 4s are something else. They're all different sorts of situations. So I wasn't concerned with them. Okay. Now we get to do the fun part. We get to go to my playground, think or swim, and look at BSLK. I don't have to do that. I already got it up. Oh my God. All right. We got lots of lines here. So I'm going to pull these down. Hopefully I remember to put them up. I normally don't. So there's our run today. You can see she was absolutely doing nothing. There wasn't any real heads up to anything going on. And then a simple tweet. A tweet, folks. This jumped from 31 cents, the initial pounce without one red bar, went up from 30 to, let's call it 90 cents. That's a 300% run on a tweet. Then it came back down, came down through the 20-day MA. Now, if we go back, because you see how far down she is. She isn't sitting on anything down here. Looks like she's floating. Come on. The price doesn't fly or float. Has to be sitting on something. Let's try the 30-minute. There you go. Right? She is sitting on that 9-day all the way. She has not come underneath it. So no matter what the 1 minute or the 5 minute look like, oh, she's falling. No, she isn't. If she fell from here, $1.24 down to 79 cents, yes, I would consider that a fall, but it's not. It's a healthy pullback. A fall is when you start going through MAs. Boom, boom, boom. You're losing control. Everything is starting to roll down. Nothing rolled down here. No matter what happened on the 5 minute or the 1 minute, all of these falls, none of them affected it. She is just getting down. She's bouncing. She's a kangaroo. If she leaves one MA, look for her to find the next strongest MA. Don't panic. But of course, you're losing money as she's falling. So don't talk yourself into, well, maybe the next one. Maybe the next one. Look, folks, sell. If she's going to fall, buy in cheaper down here. It's better to take your gains, even if they're just a little. It's better to take a little loss. You don't know what's going to go on. When you're not sure, folks, it's better to exit a trade. If you don't know what's going on, get out. Honestly, don't leave your money tied up when you don't know what's going on. That's why we plan our trades. I hate making decisions in the middle of a trade. I get frustrated. I get emotional, one way or the other, even excited, greedy. FOMO. I don't want to miss out on this. I've already got an order in to sell. Good thing, because I was thinking about, nah, that's why we plan our trades, because we will change our mind 100 times a second when the market is moving. Take a look at that 1 year. I want to see what this was doing over the year. Ooh, now isn't that interesting? This looks like it was a SPAC, folks. They did that merger back in August. They closed, right? Absolutely. So it was right here. She was at about $10. The price is always $10 on a SPAC. When they have news, it's the warrant that moves, not the stock itself. When they closed the deal, they had a bounce. We normally see that. On the closing, it falls. When you hear of a merger, the very first time you hear, that will be the biggest run you get. A month later, they say they signed the letter of intent. You'll get a bounce. Then they finally close the deal. Time to celebrate. This is what you get right there. Over and over and over again. You will get an excited bounce from people who have no clue what's about ready to come. People buying up here at $17, and then it fell back down to its original 10 and continued to fall. And it fell all the way down here to $1.20. Folks, do you know how much gains it's going to take for this person at $17 to come back up? It's going to take something like 8,000% gains. It is not the same as it fell. If you fall 100%, it takes more than 100% to get up. You fall 10%, it takes 11% to recover. If you fall 90%, it takes 900% to recover. Better to get out early and take a little loss than to struggle trying to climb back. So we had a big fall here, and you could, I'm not going to because I think it's just too big of a gap, but you can always bring your Fibonacci over here, tag the top and tag the bottom of that fall. And these are magic numbers that the price will work with. These are actual supports and resistances that we can use. They're not going to be the only ones. Right here in the middle is our 50% mark. That is where the price is needing to get to. We are in the red zone. Underneath that, we're in the green zone above that. So we've got a lot of work to do to get to $6.34. But she started. Is she going to continue? I don't think so. I'm guessing here because it's just a tweet. It's not factual. It hasn't got any hardcore information. Now, you may get some people who are going to run this just for the fun of running it. You know, like they did with Game and AMC. It does happen. And there's nothing wrong with playing those, but plan your trades. Get in over a support, get out underneath the next resistance. Try it, folks. You get yourself 5-6 gains a day of small gains, $50, $70, $100. At the end of the day, you had $400. Are you happy with that? Oh, yeah, you did lose one. You lost $30 because you had a stop loss in. You still came out ahead. Okay. Is that all the stocks I had? It isn't. I got one more, but I want to come back and talk to you good folks. Let's see where we're at here. We are at 523. Oh my God. Mark, you. Thanks. Mark gave me some more money. He knows what my tip jar is. Cha-ching. It's called shout outs here, super stickers. They allow me to put it out so you people can pay me if you think I'm worth anything. And I'm not too proud to take your money, folks. I was a waiter for years, and I found that when people give you money, it is the sincerest thing you're going to get. It really is, unless they give it to you on Christmas. Then it's just a cop-out. But you know what? I take it then, too. Money is always good. So thank you, Mark. I do appreciate that. Hello, Doc. How you doing? Any thoughts on IFIS? Ooh. IFIS just jumped. IFIS makes cattle feed out of bagasse. Bagasse is the leftover husk from sugarcane, and it creates a lot of CO2, and there's mountains of it around the world, and we don't know what to do with it. We just don't. Well, they're making cattle feed out of it. It not only is getting rid of the carbon from the bagasse, it is also getting rid of the carbon from the poop from the cows. There's no flies on the cows. They don't need the injections for antibacterials. What else was there? Oh, it's being used for fertilizer now. They use the mastic, which comes from the bagasse. For us, it helps our digestive system. It gets rid of the ammonia in our bodies, which really does a bad tear down on us. And here recently, I saw the chart take off. There's been a lot of scientific evidence coming out about what mastic, the ingredients in it, which we don't get enough of. We do not. And it's really good for your system. So yeah, IFAS is taking off right now. I did a interview with the CEO. It's been a while ago. I think maybe a whole year, but I really do like the company. I do like the CEO. He's a very smart man, very down to earth. He really is, but he is a smart man. He knows about his biology. Thank Doc for bringing that up. And we have Luna TK777. Yeah, man, I appreciate you being here too. Folks, we did have one more stock. It was actually brought by T. Rick. Me and T. Rick were actually doing due diligence on it together at the same time. It is an agricultural company that makes farming equipment here in America. And we really couldn't find any catalysts. They don't just make farming equipment. They also make farming structures for animals, things like that. While T. Rick and I were doing our due diligence, he found some information he wasn't too keen on, and we didn't have time to dive into it too deep. I was wondering if that was you. No. So we had decided that if we didn't have time, we weren't going to jump into it. So because we're at 5:30, I'm not going to dive into it because there really wasn't a catalyst. It seemed like a interesting company. The one thing I can say, it was ARTW, ARTW. Their revenues are growing. They've been growing nicely over the last 4 years. That's one good thing I can say about them. They do have big business. They are making money. They've got contracts. I just didn't see anything recent here to push it. And I didn't see the chart doing anything right now either. So figure your time is worth more than a cold chart. I do appreciate your time, folks. I see you've been talking over here. I'm glad to see you're sharing stocks. I appreciate you guys bringing them in. I see Chris Vaughn brought one in. Thanks, Chris. Yes, Meagle. That was another hot one today. Look at the stocks that they're sharing, folks. Just because I don't have time to look at them doesn't mean you don't. And when we're all done with this, I go look at these stocks. I do a lot of due diligence, and it's a lot of work. And that's why I like Penny Boys, because we got 50 to 200 people in there at any given time. Most of them are doing their own due diligence. A lot of them are following us, but a lot of them bring in their own charts, bring in, hey, this one's halted. Hey, this one's got a pennant. This one's got a bullish flag. This one just had a halt. That's a lot of work I don't have to do. And while I'm looking over here, I'm missing all that stuff over there. So I appreciate you guys doing it and sharing it. I appreciate Penny Boy sharing it. And I like sharing it. You know why? Because sharing is caring. Thank you, folks. I'll see you next week. 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I will be here and do my best. That's all I can ever promise, to do my best. I really do like you folks. I can almost say love you, but until I meet you, I don't think love really comes into the picture, does it? But God dang, I like you a lot. I'll see you next week, folks. Bye-bye. All right.